think some of you need these. I think some of you need these. Big Sil's National Football Show. You know, I wear these because you know why? I want to see who I'm talking to sometimes because I don't believe some of the garbage that comes out of your mouth. We are absolutely packed. By the way, former 5-time Pro Bowler, part of the Nashville community in sports talk radio. He was actually an Eagle that played with Brian Dawkins too, I think for a year. Blaine Bishop will join us. That'll be in hour number 3 at 5:30 Eastern time. Yeah, here we go. Look. I'm wearing these glasses because I don't think all of you see clearly. So Big Sills is here to help you. Okay, I'm here to help. I'm a helper. A helper. I'm here to help you so you help me. Dre McGuire, thank you. 6 games to go. How you doing? 6 games to go, baby. MVP race is hot and heavy. Woo! MVP. Thank you, Joseph. I appreciate it. So do you, man. Jalen Hurts in the MVP conversation. Who would have thunk it at the beginning of the year? All kidding aside. It's amazing. It's an amazing climb to being in the conversation for most valuable player. But what does that actually mean? We'll get to CJ being injured here in a minute. But I wanted to throw something at you guys here. You guys constantly fight me on certain names. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, all the mobile quarterbacks, and the comparisons to Hurts. I hear the same thing you do here. Andrew, appreciate it. Jalen can't win the MVP because he doesn't have the numbers. He doesn't have the numbers to compete with Mahomes and really even Josh Allen. I get to turnovers, and you're not wrong. I think the problem with the most valuable player conversation, it's subjective to every year on what our fancies are and what our likes and dislikes are on how we see that award. There's no definition for what that means. There's no parameters. Is it winning? Is it winning in numbers? Is it winning in numbers and style? Is it importance to a team? What's the definition? I think all of the above, right? But every year we have a different category for guys. I do believe it's Mahomes' award to lose. But I wanted to do some comparison for you when it came to the 2019 Lamar Jackson season, in which Lamar was the unanimous MVP. Now, obviously, there's still 6 games to go for Jalen here. So he can improve, and he will improve his numbers, barring any injuries here where he misses some time. In 2019, the MVP season for Lamar Jackson, 401 in attempts, 265 in completions, 31-27 passing yards. Very mediocre, right? As a passer. And hey, go with me on the conversation here. That's what they basically say about Jalen. He'll have not eye-opening passing numbers. 36 touchdowns, 6 picks. Spectacular. He actually led the NFL in passing touchdowns this year. 66-1 for completion percentage. QBR of 83. Now, obviously, too, you add in the 1206 rushing and the 7 touchdowns. So he comes out to about 43 TDs. It's pretty impressive. However, when you look, his completions, 265, let's look at Hurts's right now. Jalen's got 318 attempts, 214 in completions. He's going to blow right by Lamar Jackson in completions. He's at 25-60. he's theoretically going to blow by Lamar Jackson in passing yards. He'll end up between 37 and 38, 39, somewhere in there by the end of the year. Beats him there. His touchdowns are obviously massively down in passing. He has 17 to 3 picks. Lamar that year had 36 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. I mean, he's not going to get near that. So we see that. He beats him in TD throws substantially. Completion percentage. He's better than Lamar. 67.3. QBR 105.6. Really, theoretically, the only thing that season in 2019 where Lamar Jackson, passer Lamar Jackson, beats Jalen Hurts is in touchdowns to interception ratio and TD totals. That's it. And for the record, I think he only lost 2 games that year. Jalen has only lost 1 so far. So what's the glaring difference from 19 to 2022? Now, Lamar had 12.06 in rushing and 7 touchdowns. Well, Jalen's got 8 TDs right now. He's at 597. Where are we at right now? Let's take a look at what the number could be on what he could end up the season. And he's played every single game so far. So he's got 597. 597 divided by 11. He's averaging 54 yards, okay? So 55 yards times 6. That's another 330. And you're looking at 6. He's going to end up with around 900 yards rushing. In there, 890, something like that. Substantially lower than what Lamar did that season. But theoretically, if you look at it, the numbers are going to be kind of total yardage together. The same. The TDs, Lamar probably has a few more, but the win totals are going to be the same. What's the difference today than that time? You had Tom Brady in the league. You had Drew Brees still in the league. You had Aaron Rodgers still playing good football. Russell Wilson was in Seattle. Wasn't like you had quarterback play like we're seeing this year down. What's the difference? What's the perception on why Jalen Hurts? This is a Jalen Hurts thing. It's about Hurts. They don't see Hurts in a different way that we see Lamar Jackson. He's doing theoretically the same stuff. And if you look at the 2019 record and numbers, I don't know, we're in the same room, kind of. I think we're going to be in the room. He's going to end up with 39. He'll have around 5,000 total yards almost. Lamar had 43 total yards. Jalen Hurts will probably end up with more total yards than what Lamar did that year. Maybe a couple TDs down, maybe 4 less. I don't know. Still, he'll probably have the same win total. My ask is here, what's the difference? What's the difference? Why do we see Lamar going, oh my God, he's doing things we've never seen before? Is it because of that? We've never seen anybody. Barrett Brooks said something on the Sports Take show today. We're seeing a guy run RPOs that we've never seen before in the NFL, run them to the excellence where he's making guys like Michael Parsons a non-factor on how he reads those RPOs. Jalen is the greatest wildcat run. This is what people like Mouse Davis envisioned what the wildcat could be. A runner like that who can throw the ball and read the ends and RPOs like no one other. I think what the problem here is that nobody has seen. Jalen is like Randall Cunningham. Nobody in the NFL runs RPOs like this. I watched the 22. He makes those ends absolutely make missteps. Crashing down, not blitzing, dropping back into coverage. He reads these guys perfectly. It's almost like a linebacker not making false reads and false steps to fill a gap. He's perfect with it. Is it just because it's something new we're seeing? Not even Lamar runs the RPO to this perfection. Not even. Lamar does not. He does not run the RPO. Again, what's the difference on what Jalen's doing? Mahomes was in the league in 19, right? So you had all those quarterbacks, and yet we saw Lamar Jackson in a different light than what we're looking at with Jalen. Jalen's not winning the MVP. There's a perception out there that he's not that guy. He's not that guy. However, 5,000 total yards. Hypothetically, let's say this. He runs for another 5 touchdowns, 9, 10, 11, 12. He'll have 14 TD rushes maybe. Throws for another what? Say he has 25 touchdowns. So he could have 40 TDs. Well, Lamar had 43 the year in 2019. What's the difference? Why do we see Hurts differently? Why do we see it differently? Hurts is redefining what it means to be a quarterback in this league. Those 50-yard Hurts runs look like Mahomes. Mahomes doesn't really run. Mahomes, he is more of a guy that moves around in the pocket creating passing lanes. He's not, they don't even want him doing the quarterback sneak anymore. Remember, he got hurt in that Texans or Titans game, and he missed some time. They don't even want him doing that. Brian goes, I'm so confused on Big Sil's takes sometimes. He likes, I'm not saying no. Brian, I've already told you numerous times what my style of quarterback is. I'm having a conversation on what Jalen's doing. You don't have to be, what don't you understand? That's not my style of quarterback. He's winning, though. That's what I'm talking about right now. That's not my style of quarterback. I would never have him as my starting quarterback, but he's winning. And he's redefining what RPO quarterbacking is. That doesn't mean I like it. I think you're too reliant on it. He gets hurt, your best back and your best quarterback are out, and it's over. It's over. That's not what I want. There's no confusion. However, he's winning. How is he winning? He's in the conversation. We got Big Sil's MVP today. Quarterback ratings. My Power 5 teams. The Milk Carton Eagles. Got a shitload of stuff today. I just made the comparison. When we're talking about MVP race, I looked at Lamar Jackson's 2019. That's all I'm doing here. Hurts is a new breed. That new breed has to win. And he hasn't won anything. Lamar Jackson wins. He hasn't won anything either. Michael Vick, he won, but didn't win anything either. Big Sills, what if Hurts is the quarterback of the future? I think that's kind of what I'm trying to allude to right now. Small goes, why Lamar Jackson? Well, because Lamar Jackson does the same fundamental things in that offense that Jalen Hurts does in Philadelphia. Why, Small? Are you trying to make it racial because he's an African-American quarterback? That's a lame take. If you want to use Josh Allen. Josh Allen's got a better arm. Don't make it into that. Race has dick to do with my takes. Dick has nothing to do with my takes. Get that out of the way. Nothing. Best man gets the job in my world. Whatever that looks like or whatever that sounds like. Only the people outside of a locker room deal in race. This is the Big Sills locker room where you don't have to worry about that. You never did. People from the outside world just made it seem that way. Some people will add anything into a conversation to pollute it. Yeah, okay, JM, that's right. Always bites on it. Okay, that's what I do. I think Jalen Hurts will be all right. I'm sure whatever happens this season, he's going to work twice as hard in the offseason to get better. Jeff, I think he works during the regular season right now to get better. I think the thing that Jalen Hurts does the best right now is working on being one of the greatest teammates of all time. That's a page out of Brady. Brady's golden secret nugget was he was the greatest teammate of all time. No one talks shit on Brady. No one. In the 22 years, Hurts is going to have that same dialogue about himself. Okay? Lamar is not as smart as Jalen. I don't buy that, but I do buy where you're going, Marina. I think he's more reckless, and it's why he gets hurt more. In the same with Josh Allen. I think both those players play with a reckless abandon that Jalen doesn't. Not that Jalen doesn't play hard. He plays smarter. He sure does. That's a fact. I agree. He plays smarter. Sills, if the talent coming out of college is more like Jalen, then why are we going to eventually be filled with a league of these type of quarterbacks? Someone must win the Super Bowl. S. Blunt. You know, that has always been something that I never understood with the NFL for years and years and years. You had a player like Charlie Ward, or you had a player like Tommy Frazier, or you had a player like that. NFL coordinators refused to adapt their offenses to a guy like Vince Young. They refused. It was kind of like Jonathan Gannon in a way, plug and play. Either you were a drop back guy and you became a drop back guy, or you were finished. I think that's the road that Justin Fields was on. I think Justin Fields was on that road until they started coaching him the same way they coached Jalen in Philly. I think Jalen is setting a trend here. You're seeing it in Chicago. He's being coached like Hurts. So could he be changing the dialogue on how we perceive quarterbacks? The drop back guy, the guy who wins games from the pocket. We're seeing more of those quarterbacks coming out, more RPO style guys who throw the ball from the sprint out position than more from the pocket. Allen is like Cam in a way. He runs like a fullback. Cam could throw, though. Brian was, let's see. Hurts is the future. Hurts for MVP, easy. He ain't winning it. He ain't winning it. He's not. However, he is clearly in the conversation for something grander. You're starting to see a lot more kids getting coached like Jalen. Okay? Okay. The injury to C.J. Gardner-Johnson, is it bigger than Dallas Goedert's? What injury is a bigger loss to the development of this team and where they are in the season now as they go through this 6-game stretch? Lacerated kidney. I think the Eagles and everyone at the NovaCare Center is downplaying that as much as they can, and they're having wishful thinking. That's a 6-month injury. They're saying it doesn't need any surgery as of now, but I'm not sure I've ever heard that. So they're just going to let him sit there, and they're going to let him recover and not put him on IR? Wow. So not only are you doing that, you're going into games now shorthanded because you're not putting them on IR. That means you walk into every game with 52 dudes instead of 53 dudes, let alone the fact that you're losing a starter. Okay? I mean, 6 weeks. That's right, 6 weeks. 6 weeks. Excuse me, Drew. Not 6 months. No, not 6 months. 6 weeks. 6 weeks. My mistake. Plus, it is dangerous. Lacerated kidney. You have to monitor that as much as you possibly can. What's a bigger loss to this team in this stretch? The loss of Goddard or the loss of C.J. Gardner-Johnson? Gardner-Johnson, by the way, leading the NFL in INTs. He's a playmaker. You don't have very many playmakers on your defense. And the ones you do, they're in your secondary. You weaken the best part of your defense. The best part of your defense is not your front four. It's not your edge rushers. And it's not your linebackers. And what else is most significant in this? Jonathan Gannon is a DB coach. He loses one less guy back there to set that so-called defensive scheme that he has, the bend but don't break. I think this is a big loss to him. This is going to be a bigger loss to Jonathan Gannon than Dallas Goedert is a loss to Shane Steichen. He knows he has another playmaker in Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, isn't there any coincidence that the carries have gone up and the passing attempts have come down since Goddard's been injured? They're finding ways of winning. They're finding ways on offense to put up more opportunities for them to be able to compensate for the loss of Dallas Goedert. The loss of CJ now is one less player for Jonathan Gannon. And to me, that's a problem. Stop with the Malcolm Jenkins stuff. Not happening. Not happening. I'd rather have a guy who was recently released or a guy that's still walking the street who was cut, put back on the team. You need guys that can go in there and play that position. And I don't know at this time of the year that you're going to find a guy walking the street. You're not going to get lucky 3 times and put a guy back there in the secondary. I think Davis can come back, Jesse. I think Wednesday's the day. I think, if I'm not mistaken. This injury here, in my opinion, is a big one. Now, the only compensation that you have here with the loss of C.J. Gardner, who's the biggest quarterback that you're going to play the rest of the way out? By the way, I don't think he's going to be ready until the playoffs. I think he's finished for the rest of the regular season. I don't see him back at all. And you give me a bye, then I get an opportunity in the divisional round to get him back out there on the field. My opinion, I think that's when you're going to see him next. The next time you see C.J. Gardner-Johnson will be in the divisional playoff game. I don't believe you'll see him by the end of the year. Prescott is the only guy on that schedule that you have to be concerned about, in my opinion, that could put up some numbers on you. If you look at the rest of the quarterbacks that are in the conversation, does Andy Dalton frighten you? Does Josh Fields even frighten you? He doesn't. Fields frightens me more with his legs. So really, the next time that you're going to have to worry, hey, get this, I might even put a linebacker back there. I might even put Nakobe Dean back there. I don't know. I might put somebody back there and play with another backer. I don't know. I mean, I may come. But then again, I'm talking about Jonathan Gannon not being the guy who I know he's not, and that is being creative. He's not going to come up with a defensive plan to compensate for C.J. Gardner-Johnson's loss. Tannehill, the only problem that I have with Tannehill, you really never know what you're going to get with Ryan Tannehill. 2 weeks ago, he threw for 331 yards. I would try to get, hey, can I get Nakobe Dean on the field? Kid runs a 4.4, 4.5. Why not put him out there? Play kind of like a Wolverine backer back there in that slot position. Got a guy who's been on the team, knows the defense. Think. When does this kid play? If you need another body right now, you need it today. Nobody brings up Nakobe Dean. Put Dean in the position. He's 200 pounds. We're not talking about a guy 250 pounds back there. He's not. He's 210, 205. I'd like to know if Gardner Johnson's the same size as Nakobe Dean. Well, I'll tell you what, King. Not putting Dean back there and getting a guy off the street, what would you rather have? A guy who's been in the defensive system and the defensive meetings, or a guy who doesn't know shit about the defense? Malcolm Jenkins. Really? Give me a break. He ain't no 230. 230. That guy looks 230. The kicker for the Eagles looks bigger than Nakobe Dean. Looks okay. If it's not Dean, then who? A streetwalker? How many times do you think you're going to be able to go to the bus stop and put guys on your defense and win? You went to the bus stop and got 2 D tackles. I didn't think they played that great in this last game against the Packers. I thought they were okay. They weren't really anything special. But you went to the bus stop to get 2 dudes. You're going to go to the bus stop again to get another guy? Really? And you think you still have the top defense in the NFL? I love listening to Eagle fans when they're talking this. So you're going to get 3 bus stop guys and call yourself the best defense in the NFL. Give me a break. Not happening. You're far from the best defense. Right now, you're just trying to get to the finish line here because your team's getting beat up. Because Gannon has allowed that front 7 to get their ass kicked all year. You ever notice why the defense is starting to give up more yards to lesser teams? Why do you think that is? Because the secondary is getting beat up. Because they're making plays back there. Because you're getting gouged on first and second down. It's now played its toll on your defense. Sounds like Chip Kelly all over again. Got to do something. I think this is a big loss here. The only saving grace, as I said, is the fact that you're not playing any elite guys and any big arms. You're not playing any big arms until the playoffs. So it's the only saving grace. Goddard is a big loss on that offense. Jalen Hurts has to carry the football more as a running back in the loss of, you notice it. Jalen is not going to sit back and throw the ball 37 times any longer. That's not going to happen until Goddard gets back. Until that time, you're looking at between 12 and 18 carries a game for Jalen Hurts. Until Goddard gets back. And you're flirting with disaster with that, but that's okay. Seals, who on the street now for tight end and safety? I don't know. The only guy on the street that I know that could come in and play for the Eagles would be Gronkowski. And if Gronk ever came back, it'd be for Brady. It wouldn't be for Jalen Hurts. He'd come back for Brady. I mean, Howie would have to overpay him. Blankenship was fine back there. I saw him get beat a few times too. Can we ask Gannon to make any adjustments, or do we always have to sign a dude? Hey, that's what I say. Dan Quinn with the Cowboys figures out we don't need any defensive tackles. We'll fix it ourselves. And he did. That's a coordinator in Dallas. Jonathan Gannon is a coach. He's not a coordinator. That's the difference between Jonathan Gannon and Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn is a specialist at being a D coordinator. Jonathan Gannon is coach of a unit. And when you coach a unit, you're not strong in any part of that unit except for coaching players and trying to put them in the right place. You ever notice how some guys are spectacular play callers? They get the head coaching job, they fall to pieces. Why? Look at Josh McDaniel. Josh McDaniel is a brilliant play caller. John Gruden is a good play caller. Spreads you out immediately, but John's not the best organizational guy. That's why he always has a GM like Bruce Allen around him. He's not an organizational dude. He's a play-calling head coach. Same thing in Los Angeles with the Rams. Sean McVay is not a head coach. He's a coordinator. He's a play-calling head coach. You think he calls anything on the defensive side of the football or special teams? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Can you see Sean McVay coaching DBs and linebackers? Give me a break. I thought about Tark Spike. I think if they would have been impressed with him, I think they may have brought him back. But I don't think they have been impressed with him. King goes like this, Cowgirls still have nothing there. Okay, well, guess what? Your defense is in tatters now. You're suspect against the run. Your edge rushers occasionally get home, and your secondary's getting depleted. That's not a top unit. And then you put in the fact that your coordinator, who's not a top coordinator, I don't know what these... You know, it's funny. If the perception about Jalen Hurts is that he's not Josh Allen or he's not Patrick Mahomes, how in the world has Jonathan Gannon become Buddy Ryan all of a sudden? How's Jonathan Gannon turned into Bud Carson? Who gave him that tag? I would really like to have a conversation. What do you see? Complex what? This guy had Jordan Love last week on the ropes. A guy who had thrown 9 passes all year. What's the one thing you would do? Blitz. No way. What does he do? He throws a touchdown pass. You're sitting there going like this. The one thing that this kid can't do is handle pressure, and you don't bring it, and he throws a TD pass on you. That is all I need to know about Jonathan Gannon. 9 passes all year. 9. He's thrown like 60 in his career. In 3 years in Green Bay, and you don't bring pressure. And you made the game closer than it needed to be. Dumb. Just stupid. Blitz that guy. Move him around. Game's so fast for him now. Jonathan Gannon slowed the game down for Jordan Love. Think about that. He systematically slowed the game down for him by not bringing pressure. A coordinator. Peter says that we have to outscore teams for the next 3 to 4 weeks. We can do it. It's going to be a lot on Jalen. Someone should whisper blitz to Jonathan Gannon. Sills, you think Goddard will be back Dallas week? Jesse, I do. But in what condition will he be ready to play on December 24th? Who are the elite quarterbacks in the NFC? S. Blunt, how about this? Jalen and everyone else. Put them in an order. I don't think there's been very good play of quarterback. Okay? In the NFC this year. Goddard downtime is for 25. Wide receiver to step the hell up. Yeah, Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith had to step his game up, and he hasn't. Or the play calling has to get better for him. I think it's more that with him. In play calling. for Devontae. I don't think they put him in shape, and I don't think they put him in a position to succeed. I do not. I do not believe that. You guys are going, well, he'll have 87 catches. 87 catches and 900 yards? What are you throwing him, 2-yard passes? That's theoretically what you're doing. You're throwing 5-yard passes to him. Non-factor passes. None. 87 catches. He's on pace for 900 yards. That's like 45 yards a game, 40 yards a game. It's terrible. You're not using Devontae Smith. Shit, you know what you're probably using him as? If an engine has 12 spark plugs, you probably got 3 spark plugs in the engine of Devontae Smith right now. You're not maximizing the horsepower at all. Of all guys, too. Probably your best route runner, and you're not using him. I don't know. Sully says Miami moves the receivers around and gets them in space. Eagles don't do that. Yeah, because that's a complex offensive passing system down in Miami. There's nothing fancy about the passing RPO system in Philly. Nothing. There's nothing special about it except the players. You have plugged in special players in a very mediocre offense. And that's why you're 10-1. Is because these guys and the quarterback is running the RPO offense to a T. They'll catch up with it. The question will be, how much do they catch up with it after a time? Especially if you start losing more players. Say AJ's out. You're going to shut Jalen down immediately. If AJ or Devontae go down, where are you going then? Who are you throwing it to? Who are you throwing it to? Miles Sanders? Then you're going back to being one-dimensional 2021 Eagles. Just running the ball. Not anything wrong with that when you put 363 on the board. I get it. Nothing wrong with that. Nobody has stopped that. The Eagle offense, run by Jalen Hurts, it starts with the run. Every other offense in the National Football League starts with the quarterback passing and having play action. In Philly, it's backwards. It starts with the RPO and the running. So it makes it a novelty offense. Nobody does it. Or nobody does it too. And again, kind of circles back to the MVP. There's not a quarterback. Here, I want to show you something. What makes this thing crazy? I don't believe that there is a quarterback in the National Football League that could come into Philadelphia and play that offense to that success. I think Josh Allen could run it. It'd be turnovers, though, still. Because the Eagle quarterback coaches and offensive coordinator would fall in love with more throwing the ball down the field. And they would get themselves in trouble. Mahomes, could he run that? Miles Sanders would have to be more of a factor because Mahomes isn't going to take off running. He's not a mobile quarterback. This guy's not one of the – wait, I'll take that back. He's a mobile quarterback, but not a dual threat quarterback. He's not dual threat. He doesn't want to run. Jalen does because it's part of his deal, his DNA, how he moves the sticks. That's not part of Patrick Mahomes' deal. Okay? It's not. It's not what he wants. Andy Reid doesn't even want him doing that. MH says the next 3 tough games for the 49ers will tell how much of a threat they are. Agreed, MH. You know, everyone keeps talking about that's the football team to look out for in the NFC. I completely agree. But you also, because of the slow start you had with all the injuries at the beginning of the year, you see, the 49ers are doing something the Bucs have not been able to do. The 49ers were able to weather the injuries on their team. That's why there's 4 losses. And now you're seeing them with 4 wins in a row. And that's why everyone's getting excited about San Francisco. But San Francisco had issues at the beginning of the year, Plus, they didn't have McCaffrey. It's a completely different football team with Christian McCaffrey on it. That's a completely different football team. Hurts can play on any NFL team. Absolutely not. You take that old line away from him, he's Justin Fields. Absolutely not. You can't even find Devontae Smith on your own freaking team, dude. You think you're going to find T. Higgins and Jamar Chase in Cincinnati? Or Joe Mixon? Devontae Smith will have just as many yards as he did his rookie year. He's been stunted, actually, in this offense. Devontae Smith, his growth as a receiver in the Philadelphia Eagle offense has been diminished. Well, still he'll have 17 more catches. Yeah, and about 20 less yards than a year ago. That's not improvement. That's not growth. That's not growth. Not growth. So if Tyreek and Waddle go down, who does Tua throw the ball to? That dude's going to have 2 wide receivers over 1,500 yards. The Eagles will be lucky to have one over 1,000. AJ. No one else is going to have 1,000 yards. There's going to be 2 wideouts. 2 wideouts in Miami over 1,500 yards. That kid, too, is spreading the football around. The numbers say they are. He's missed 2 less games and will end the season with more passing yards and touchdowns than Jalen Tagovailoa will, if healthy. If healthy. Tua will throw for more yards. Missing 2 games. Eagles a rushing team. Why get AJ? I don't mind AJ. $25 million AJ? AJ Brown is look, he's on pace for 11 touchdowns. That's a lot. Tyreek Hill, I think, has 3. Okay? Red zone. Who would you rather have in the red zone? Tyreek Hill or AJ Brown? Me and the style of offense the Eagles have? I'd rather have AJ. Open field, 20-20, I'd rather have Tyreek Hill. That's how the Kansas City Chiefs looked at Tyreek Hill. 20-20, Kelsey can get the job done. Kelsey is a red zone better target than Tyreek Hill is. He's got 3 TDs. He may have 2,000 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. That doesn't add up. He may be in the MVP conversation, but he's not going to got to score too. You got to score. G5 says, good teams find ways to win. Nobody is playing lights out football on either side. And to your point, G5, I would say this, and the Eagles have the best roster in the NFL. They have holes in special teams and their run defense. And at tight end, by the way, there's 3 holes in your team. Tight end too. So you're no longer the complete team that you think you are. You have a hole at tight end. Your number 2 wide receiver is non-existent at times. Your run defense is suspect in certain situations. Even the Packers, they had 106 yards rushing, but their backs were gaining 6-8 yards a carry. And now you got a hole in your secondary, and your special teams is atrocious. So 10-1 looks a little different today with all those glaring issues that are starting to rear its head. You have no tight end. Your suspect run defense. You're injured now, and your top interception guy, your top turnover guy, is now gone, I think, for the remainder of the regular season. And your number 2 wideout gets 5-yard passes thrown to him. And your number 1 wideout has put the ball on the ground and has fumbled the ball the last 3 weeks. 10-1. Yes. Will they look that same way towards the finish line? Absolutely. Will be the question. 10-1? No, not to me it doesn't. No tight end now. You got that 10-1 record when you were, hey, you're lucky you're playing teams that aren't 500. But again, it's not an Eagle thing. It's a league thing. There's not a lot of good teams in the league, so it's all good. You're not playing against any elite quarterbacks the rest of the way out. If you want to call Dak that, I don't. But there's more concerns today than there were prior to that Minnesota Viking game. You got more concerns. Care how you slice it up. How you slice it up. You're lesser of a team today than you were against Minnesota. You're lesser of a team. You've lost starters. And your left tackle's still injured. I don't know. 10-1. Why is every game a struggle? Prior to that Minnesota game, there were no struggles. Why is every game a struggle now? Every game. Texans. Cardinals. Colts. Packers. All struggle. You're not blowing anybody out. Not blowing anyone out. This is going to be an interesting finish. I want to address the elephant in the room here now. Questionable play calling? Mo, I think the questionable play calling, worst coaching staff. Peter, you know, it's funny you should bring that up because one of the things that I say why Jalen Hurts is really excelling is because I think those coaches don't know still how to coach this kid. And he's taking everything in his hands. And that's why that RPO read, get this, think about something here on the RPO read. Okay, think about something on the RPO. Yeah, and he gave up 33. Think of something on the RPO read. That's not a coaching play call, per se. Most play callers go, let's run a pass play. Let's run a run play. That RPO is an option for Jalen to decide. He takes the coaches out of the equation in an RPO. Run pass option. Think about that. The coaching staff almost becomes a non-factor in the sequences of plays because it's Jalen reading the end, the safety, the corner coming down, whomever. Jalen is a coach on the field, actually. Do I give it? Do I pass it? Do I counter it? It's pretty impressive. The entire play calling for the entire game is in Jalen's hands, theoretically. Okay? It's pretty impressive. He takes Nick Sirianni and Shane Steichen out of the conversation almost. MH goes, didn't Dan Quinn choke a Super Bowl? It's funny how people bring that stuff up. Funny, didn't Jalen Hurts get annihilated in a playoff game? Made to look stupid? Along with that coaching staff? Sure. How many coaches that are active have won Super Bowls? MH? Belichick? Carroll? Tomlin? Belichick? Tomlin? Carroll? McVay? I got 4. 4 head coaches. 4. Andy Reid, 5. 5 out of 32. Doug, 6 out of 32. 6. 6. How many quarterbacks that are active today have won Super Bowls? Not Joe Flacco either. Brady, Russell, Stafford. Not that easy. Jim Harbaugh, too, has won one McCarthy. So you got, think of that. You got like 8 guys out of 32 teams. 8 guys. Wentz isn't a starter. Let me get to the elephant in the room here. 8 out of 32. Not very many. I addressed this yesterday. And I want to ask you again this question, because I do think we're here now. You know, we were kind of going to have the conversation as we got to the bye week. I think it's going to be a very interesting conversation at the end of the year and how they address Jalen Hurts going forward. And I'm not saying, has Jalen won the job? He has. He's won it. I concede he's won it. He's won the job. He's won the job. At minimum, he's won the opportunity to further the conversation to do this. We're not taking a quarterback with those 2 number 1s. Wouldn't it be funny to watch Howie do this? Have Jalen sign a 2 or 3 year contract and yet take one of those 2s and trade down, and so that he would have another first rounder the following year just to hedge his bets. Could you see him moving down to get another first rounder the following year? Just in case. Just in case. Okay? Let me ask you this. It is going to be a very tricky conversation to have financially with Jalen Hurts. You can't pay him top dollar. They don't win. They don't win. When you maximize that position to the most, you don't get return on investment. You guys keep telling me about paying a guy, okay? $42 million a year will be a bargain in 2 years. Cap will increase, will be good. $42 million? Name me one deal, and I said this yesterday, and I want to reemphasize it. Name me one of those deals that have returned investment paying max dollar, except for Patrick Mahomes. This is why Baltimore's not signed Lamar. You could bring Joe Flacco in there and win just as many ball games at $25 million. Organizations are not going to pay $40 million, have a cap issue, not being able to build teams when you're seeing the trend. Nobody on the planet. Okay, T. Washington says pay the man. Name me one deal that you paid over for. Hell, how about 30? Over 35 that has returned investment for teams and ownership. See, Jared Goff, Carson Wentz, Kyler Murray. Let's see. Name me one. Rivera never won a Super Bowl, only as a player. Dallas, you think Dallas got their return on their investment with Dak Prescott getting bounced in the opening rounds of playoffs? Absolutely not. Mahomes is the only $40 million a year guy. Stafford doesn't make 40. He does make 30. But he took a hometown discount with signing bonus. Makes about 28, I think it is. My point is, you pay a guy $45 million, you will never, your team will be lesser. $42 million? Even that's what Xander said. You pay Jalen Hurts $42 million, you'll never win. And you know why? I have the facts on my side. You think Kyler Murray's going to deliver a Super Bowl for Arizona? You think Carson Wentz? You think Jared Goff is delivering a Super Bowl in Detroit? You think Lamar's going to deliver a Super Bowl in Baltimore or Miami? How about Deshaun Watson? You think he's going to deliver a Super Bowl and yet to be determined? He hasn't played yet. He starts this weekend against the Texans of all teams. Big signing bonus, spread the cap out across many years is exactly what Brady did in Tampa. Yeah, Brady was able to do that in Tampa and get the big signing bonus because he had 6 pieces of jewelry that he could negotiate with. What's Jalen negotiating with? Kirk Cousins? I mean, you make it sound like Jalen Hurts has a great negotiating piece. The only piece he has is 10-1. That's not a $46 million buy, my friends. Playoff football is where you make that. Hey, that's why I say Arizona, the Cowboys, Cleveland, Baltimore, all these teams that are going to put – hey, I feel good paying Joe Burrow $40 million. You know why? Joe's already gotten there. I feel pretty good about that. Why do you think a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be worth big money on the open market? And I mean big money for him, 30. You're going to get a guy who's 44-19 going into your place, and he's going to win there too. You can't keep dispelling that. Bro, Kyler Murray sucks is what Sanders says. He got paid $46 million. It's my point. Okay? His leverage is a guy that sucks. I don't want to pay it. I don't want to pay it. There's not one contract that has returned the investment. Garoppolo's returned more of an investment. Shit, look at what's happened to Green Bay this year. They gave Aaron Rodgers $50 million. They're 4-8. Name me one place. Mahomes is the only big-time contract that has returned investment. The rest of these things kill teams. Joe Flacco signed that contract years ago after winning the Super Bowl. It destroyed the team. Anquan Bolden, Ed Reed, Bryant McKinney, all them dudes got knocked off that football team. Watson worth the money? I don't know, Joseph. We'll find out. He gets a start this weekend. The sample size is too small. You're not hammering up. What do you mean sample size is too small? Murray, Goff, Wentz. What are you talking about? Look at the Russell Wilson deal they just signed. In Denver, they're stuck with that guy. What do you mean sample size? It's all over the league. What are you talking about? Anytime teams and organizations pay big money for unproven people, they never pan out. Not hammering it. The league is littered with it. Littered with it. What are you looking at? Too small of a sample size. Derek Carr, you think he's returning investment in Las Vegas? D. Adams took less to sign with the Raiders. He said so himself and said Rodgers' uncertainty kept talking about retirement, pushed him away. So I'm talking about quarterback who are making top flight money, and he's making top flight money. Shit, they're talking to trading his ass to the Jets or the Bucks. The Raiders are actively trying to push Derek Carr out the building. And he's been pretty successful when it comes to at least putting numbers up. Manning and Stafford worked. Peyton Manning never made $40 million, guy. And the money wasn't that excessive that it would rip your cap apart. It was never that excessive. Manning hasn't played football in 7 years. Dylan, there you go. What's the remedy? The remedy is you got to pray to Jalen Hurts. It takes $30 million. You got to hope he's that guy. Jalen Hurts takes $30 million. The Eagles will continue to be successful for the next 15 years with him. Not that I think he'll play that long, because that style does not dictate that. My NFL MVP race. I want to get into that. Also, the playoff picture. How it sits today. Don't forget, we will talk to Blaine Bishop, 5-time Pro Bowler with the Tennessee Titans and part of the broadcast team for the Titans, in hour number 3 at 5:30 Eastern time, too. So I want, and by the way, Eagle Milk Carton guys, too, are coming around the corner. So the MVP, the Big Sills MVP, our quarterback rankings, and also the playoff picture on how that's going to look, too. Xander says, if I were Jalen Hurts, I would never take 30. Well, Jalen Hurts takes 40, that football team will be ripped apart. And you'll have lesser players, and you'll be back in the Wentz conversation. Hour 2. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
At Pond Lehocky, we've recovered billions of dollars for our clients, and we're confident we can do the same for you. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured clients obtain some of the largest settlements in Pennsylvania. One conversation is all it takes to help you and your family get back on track. If you've been injured in an accident, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Jim Gardner is an icon.
A Philadelphia treasure.
He's a mentor, a pace setter.
Jim is my North Star.
He's trusted, revered.
Appreciated.
He is Action News.
He's compassionate. Honest.
And fair.
He is extremely dedicated,
motivated, and always seeking the truth.
He's also funny. We are a team of many.
Jim Gardner is our leader, and we're lucky to have him.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction. Go with trust.
Go Birds!
And go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia dreams. Oh, and go Birds.
We We all know that taxes are just part of life. It's true during our working years, but also in retirement. But what you might not know is up to 85% of your Social Security benefits might be taxed. Our team at Thrive Financial has helped retire thousands of people across the Delaware Valley by asking questions they never knew they needed to ask, including how their Social Security benefits might be taxed. It's time to be proactive on taxes. Get your Thrive Retirement Tax Playbook today.
Hour 2, Big Sales National Football Show. Appreciate you guys stepping in with us. Thank you very much. Some of the stupidest stats of all time were put on the WIP website. All-time rushing quarterbacks for the Eagles per game. Hurts 42.9. Vic 37. McNabb 21.9 and Randall 36.7. Who cares? Not one of those guys won anything. They won nothing. Zero. That stat is meaningless. Well, he gets the most yards for a quarterback run. When has that ever panned out to mean anything? When in NFL history has that mattered? Like never. How many yards a quarterback gets rushing in a game has no significance on winning Super Bowls in the over 100 years of pro football. Nothing. But it doesn't impress me. Now, to reel it back, Jalen adding the passing component does. Vic was fun to watch. But when it came to winning games, he wasn't going to win anything really important, ever. I think Lamar Jackson's in that room, too. He's really great to watch. He's a special player. He's not really going to win anything. Not really going to win anything. Nobody has. It's a meaningless statistic. Meaningless. Does not translate into championships. Just doesn't. And it hasn't. Now, will we see it? Probably, because we're seeing more. But then again, I really haven't seen anybody run the RPO like Jalen. There's nobody in the league right now running it like that. Because you know why? What do you think the difference between Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson is? What do you think the difference is? What do you think the difference is? I think it's ego. Jalen doesn't care if he doesn't throw any touchdown passes. Those other guys, I think, do. And that's why you see 19 turnovers, and most of those in the red zone for Allen. I think Lamar, you hear this all the time. He's putting too much of the weight of the offense on his back. Well, that's what the guy who makes $50 million is supposed to do. But see, Jalen has been afforded the patience by the coaching staff and the ownership. Jalen, it doesn't matter if you have 4,000 passing yards and 35 TDs. You continue to do what you're doing right now, and you're almost undefensible, which is true. Now, you're putting a lot on him. 17 carries, over 30 carries the last 2 weeks. That's more of a result of Goddard being down, but still significant. Jalen's ego is not going to throw in between three defenders like Allen will. There's a 50-50 proposition that's a pick. Tip pass, deflection, what have you. Jalen is he's smart at it. Give a shit about 157 yards rushing. Sounds great. It really is. And it was fun to watch. will it result in a Super Bowl in Glendale? Pay Jalen. Howie won't be able to build through free agency. I think Howie's not bad at free agency. I think he's not that great at the draft. How many running quarterbacks had these weapons and offensive line? What weapons? What weapons are you talking about? Weapons. You got one guy who's going to have a good year for him. A career year, 1,200 yards in AJ. The rest of them? What weapons? Miles Sanders? Miles is a weapon. On pace for 14. He's your second most productive offensive football player right now. He's been your most consistent of anybody now that Goddard's down. Miles Sanders has been your second best offensive football player this year. If you took Jalen Hurts out of the conversation, Miles Sanders is your MVP on offense. Fourth in rushing, on pace for 12 TDs, 1,400 yards. I don't know what you would consider better. Brown has been a non-factor for 3 weeks. 0. Miles Sanders has been playing consistent football all season long. All season long. I'm going to get to the MVP race here in a weapon. Yeah, Dominique, what weapon are you seeing the last 3 weeks? What weapon outside of Hurts, who's put up a big number outside of Miles Sanders too? What weapon? Devontae? AJ? Who? There isn't one. Would you say we've had our fair share of significant injuries? Feels like we don't get enough credit for that. Zach, I think the credit you get is the credit that what I said at the beginning of the year. I think you built the deepest roster in the NFL. And this is why you built that deep roster. You don't have a lot of star line players like San Francisco does. Okay? You don't. But your overall 53-man is better than San Francisco, I think. Flex says winning takes sacrifices. Somebody's stats was going to dip. Michael Irvin could have been top 3 in receiving yards, but he knew the dynasty ran through E. Smith. Michael still got 1,200-yard, 1,300-yard years. I think Mike's got over 800 catches. I think Mike is okay with his Hall of Fame career. Smith could still have 1,000, not in a million. I'll make a point to you, T. Washington. Devontae Smith may never have 1,000-yard receiving year in his time in Philly. AJ is bugged by an ankle injury. So is everybody else in the NFL. So is everybody else. Let's take a look at that playoff picture before we get to the MVP race and my Big Sales quarterback rankings. Here's how it would play out now. AFC first. Chiefs number 1 with the bye. Who would have thought this? Tua Tagovailoa has dragged his team to the number 2 seeding in the AFC. And I'm going to tell you something. After watching that guy get his brain splattered all over a football field inside of 4 days, twice, to see what he's doing, I got to tell you, means a lot to me. Jalen is playing great. But Tua Tagovailoa has played through massive injury, concussions, and he's carrying his football team. And I'll tell you this, he's winning this job too. The question mark about Tagovailoa will be this: is he durable enough to play 10 years? It's a great story in Miami. Dude. Tua is a better passer than Hurts. Hurts is more complete. That's the difference in the two. And it's exactly what Saban has seen and what Saban saw at Alabama. Tua is more accurate and has a better understanding of the passing game. Two guys he has. You have Devontae Smith and AJ. It's not like, you don't have stars on your team. That's what you keep telling me. Well, he's got Jalen Waddle, who was on the same team with Jalen Smith or Devontae Smith. And he's got Tyreek Hill. Both guys are going over 1,500 yards. Both guys are going to have 100 catches. And you don't have a 100-catch guy in the history of your franchise. They're going to have two. What do you think is a better passer? Who do you think is a better passer? You don't have one wide receiver in the history of your franchise. They're going to have two in 1 year, over 100. Two in the same huddle. And we're not throwing 5-yard wheel routes. So when Miami pays Tua 40 to 50, Tyreek Hill will be gone. Flex, how don't you see that? So you think, Flex, when they pay Tua 40 to 50, you're keeping Tyreek Hill? Then why didn't Kansas City? Why didn't Kansas City keep him? So let me get this right, Flex. Kansas City let go of the best deep threat in the game, and maybe the best of all time. But they're going to keep him in Miami. Your common sense. So Andy let the best wideout walk out the building in his prime. Xander says, reread it. He said, how will they keep him? Got it, Flex. Flex. My mistake. Thank you, Xander, for spotting that. My mistake, Flex. You can't. Well, Xander brought something up earlier. The cap will go up. And maybe they're going to be able to do more deferred payments because you're going to have to start getting creative. That's what the new CBA is. You can defer some of this money out, okay? You're going to have to become awful creative, okay? Apologize, Flex. Best deep threat of all time is Randy Moss. I said one of. Jalen Hurts is a better deep thrower. Absolutely not. You don't throw the ball deep. You throw 5-yard passes to Devontae. I mean, Rodgers getting paid $50 million, and the Raiders paid Adams a boatload of money. He said the Packers offered him. So, I mean, there is a way. Well, it didn't happen. He could say that all he wants. They gave Aaron Rodgers 50. So you're going to pay a guy 25. You're going to have $75 million of your $181 million salary cap in two guys. How does that fundamentally make sense? How you're paying two men $75 million? It structurally can't be done. You'll have lesser players throughout the entire roster. You almost got $100 million in two players. Well, there's 51 other guys you got to pay. Your O-line, your depth, your backs. I haven't even got to defense and special teams yet. Philip says, I'll take Jalen Hurts over Tua any day. Well, Philip, that's not what Saban said. So you probably know more than Nick Saban. Big Sarge, do you believe in Epps or Blankenship enough to not go and add safety? Malcolm Jenkins is dumb talk. I would put Blankenship in there. He was beat a few times, but he also made some plays. Tua left the Texans game. Sills, Hurts getting the bag only if he wins the Super Bowl. I think if he gets there, too. I think if he gets the Eagles to the Super Bowl, he's going to get it. Is it possible the Eagles make Hurts wait for his contract and play out the last year of his deal? That's a great question. That's a great question. That's a great question. But here's the problem with that. So I'm going to go into another calendar year with my backup quarterback making more money than my starting quarterback? Am I really going to pay? You understand, guys, that Gardner Minshew makes more money than Jalen. He makes $2.5 million. Jalen makes $1.4 million. That guy makes $1 million more than what your starting MVP candidate makes. That's how crazy of a conversation this is and how important of one it is. If you look a lot at Tua's passes, they are quick slants. You see Hill and others and other wide receivers having to slow down to come back and get the ball. Well, then why aren't the Eagles running those? They try to run those 5-yard slants, and they go nowhere. How come the Eagles can't run those? Tell me this. Satchmo, why can't you utilize Devontae Smith in that offense? In 2 years, you haven't. Of all the players on offense, the most underutilized player in that huddle is the kid from Alabama who won the Heisman Trophy. It's a fact. Well, he's on pace for 87 catches. Yeah, and 900 yards. So basically 40 yards a game. That's no impact or yards and TDs. That's one thing you could say about AJ. AJ's going to put up 1,200 yards this year. Somewhere in there. Okay? 1,200 yards. But what's going to be a factor? Well, them 13, 14 touchdowns he may end up the season with. And jump balls in red zones. That's what I told you his impact is. A.J. Brown's impact is from 20 in. He's not, he's awful good 20 to 22, man. When he catches the ball, it is hard to get his ass on the ground. He's a good football player. I'm not going anywhere near that. I'll reel that back in. He's a good football player. I mean, the cap will go up with the new TV deal, and if the Saints pick is between 3 and 5, Howie will trade back for even more picks. I think they're going to trade out of that Saints pick and trade down and get 2 picks for the following year. The true contract year for Jalen. That's a great question, though, that Xander asked. Do you let that play out? I think that's an insult. I would take that as an insult if I was Hurts. If I delivered an MVP-type season, say I finished second, and I deliver a 15-2 season. Say I'm 15-2. I'm second in the MVP, and I don't get killed in the voting. I'm kind of right there. And theoretically, I would be considered the best player in the NFC. That's pretty cool when you got Rodgers and Brady in it. And you decided to come to me and go, hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to let you play out the final year of your contract, and we'll negotiate after. I might be insulted by that. Okay? I did everything you asked me to do. I have stood up and done every single thing that you wanted me to. And legally now you can address this. I want a contract, in my opinion, by the start of training camp. I want an extension. And that's how I think Clutch is going to perform. They're going to make the Eagles put a deal down on paper for a contract extension heading into the final year. An RPO quarterback, you have to demand that. You would have to demand that. Yeah, but see, I think, and Xander just said, he goes like this, he goes, yeah, but Lamar turned it down. I don't think Lamar wants to play in Baltimore anymore. I don't think Jalen Hurts has any other fantasies about playing anywhere else other than here. I don't think he has any fantasies about going to the Houston Texans or some shit like that. I don't think he has any fantasy of that. The organization has thrown themselves around him. They drafted him. The community loves him. He's a great example of what you would want as a face of a franchise. He's everything, the coaching staff and everyone. By the way, you're not going to have the same coaching staff. That could be a plus or minus. I don't know yet. You could probably bring Frank in as I don't know how that's going to work. But I would be exceptionally insulted if you did not address this before the start of I would say that you need to have a deal done by the time we get to the July training camp 2023. If I were Clutch Sports, I would demand that. At least start talking about, and let's see where the numbers in and where the Eagles are going to start. By the way, I think, Xander, to your conversation, okay, what do you think the Eagles come in at? Hey, and do not start high. You think Howie Roseman gives big contracts to players, or does he look for cheap deals? You think they're going to come in at $50 million? You're nuts. 85, 37. Yeah. 50 if they win the Super Bowl? Never. No way. Cap ain't going up that much. You're going to pay him more than Mahomes, you'll lose the entire franchise. All them great players you have on your team, gone. Zach, I think Zach. Put that up, Xander. What's the franchise tag in 2022 for quarterbacks?
$29.703 million, according to some information I found on NFL.com.
They're going to franchise tag him for $30 million. Yeah, but how does that? No, they can't, because he still has a year on his contract. That's right, Showtime. You have to give him a bonus. Yeah, you can't use the tag. You're right, Showtime. You can't use the bonus because it would be a tag and there's no bonuses in tags. You can't franchise tag a guy with still an existing contract in place according to the NFL collective bargaining agreement. You just can't erase a year on his deal. That's against the rules. GT. Put that back up, Xander. Let me see that again. 150 for 3. 75 sign. Let me see if that adds up right. 75 divided by 3. It'd be $25 million for 3 years added on to, and he would get, you would give him the 75 this year. You would give him the 75 in his base of 1.4. Okay. I think that's, you know what? Xander said that's what they're going to do. Huge signing bonus and spread the cap. Spread the cap hit with the 150 over 3. 75 comes out to 25 per. Okay? Think about that. 25 per, prorate out, or That sounds right. That sounds right. No, but I'm talking about 85. I'm talking about the signing bonus. 75 is the sure money. The rest of it is what you prorate out. And it's stuff that you can put extensions on too. And you can extend it out now. You can defer the money now because of this new CBA. When you sign a contract, it's so team friendly. So look at the 75. The 75's the number. That's the tangible number. And over 3 years, it's $25 million per. Now, again, there's an escalator in there because then what would happen is this coming season, he'd make 26. Get this. Xander, check it out, guys. And GT, good call. Watch this. He would make $26.5 million. He'd make $26.5 million this year with the bonus. The following year, though, he'd make 42. And the cap's up probably 215. Sounds right. 50 million. It never happened. Never happened. I'm hoping you're kidding too. That's under 40 million per. Yeah, but again, you give me the signing bonus money. The signing bonus. Hey, Deshaun Watson signed for less money than Aaron Rodgers did annually, but he got all of his money guaranteed, $230 million of it. Bro, you could sign me to a $400 million contract. How many of those contracts have you ever seen quarterbacks fulfill? 15 years, $400 million. They cut you in year 8. And they don't owe you any of that monopoly money at the back end of the contracts. You don't want long-term deals today. You want short-term deals today. Because you want to be able to renegotiate. Why? Because the cap goes up and the value of the quarterback position, it goes up every year. Look at those deals that you signed with Wentz and the deal Goff signed with the Rams. Those are obsolete today. $32 million? Shit, man, you got almost defensive linemen making that money now. $32 million? You're not in the ballpark of guys who are delivering wins. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to make $35 million. It's all about the huge signing bonus, right? Again, I do not believe in any way. 32 is almost wide receiver money, isn't it? Shit, Justin Jefferson's talking about a $28 million a year deal. They're working on a contract in Minnesota where they're going to talk about paying him $29.5 million. Okay? You can't come in and all of a sudden Jalen signs a contract for $35 million and Justin Jefferson makes 30. 4 years, 160. 5 years, 200 million. That's 40 million a year if you do the short-term deal. You're right back at the table in 2-3 years. And it protects both. What if the kid sucks? You know? What if he's great? What if he's great? Right? Plus, you get the money in the bank. You get the money in the bank. GT, that's good. That's good. Appreciate everybody coming aboard here. By the way, playoff picture. Chiefs, Dolphins, Titans, the team you're playing this weekend, is sitting in the 3-hole. Ravens are 4th. Bills are 5th. Bengals are 6th. Jets are 7th. The opening round matches for the AFC playoffs would be Chiefs in a bye, Jets, Dolphins, Bengals at Titans, and Ravens at Bills. Wow, would that be so? wow, you'd have Lamar Jackson versus Josh Allen in the wild card round of the NFL playoffs in the AFC. That would be incredible. You'd have Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen in the opening round of the playoffs. The NFC, Eagles in the bye. Vikings in the 2-hole. The 49ers have climbed all the way up to the 3 spot. The Bucs at 5-6 are still in the 4-hole because they're going to win the NFC South. I think. Cowboys are 5th. Wild card. Giants are 6th. Commanders are 7th. Every single team as of today from the NFC East will make the playoffs. How incredible is that? You're talking about all 4 teams in the East would make the playoffs as of today. Your opening round games. Commanders versus the Vikings. Giants versus the 49ers. Cowboys versus the Bucs. And you would play the Bucs if Brady beats the Cowboys in the divisional round because they'd be the lesser. So either way, I think if the Buccaneers make the playoffs, in my opinion, I think the Eagles are going to play the Bucs in the divisional round no matter what. You're going to play Brady again. You're going to get Brady. I know he sucks. He's no good. He's not a very good quarterback anymore. He's too old. I know. That would be just a fire too for him. That would be just a fire for Brady. Tom, you're too old. You suck. You're no good. Your team. What if they end up the regular season under 500 and they beat the Eagles? And like I said, let me put this out there for you. Jalen Hurts, you should want Tom Brady. Here's why. So if this kid ends up 15-2, he wins the East, he gets the bye, he beats Brady, then he beats the 49ers in the NFC title game, and he beats Mahomes for the Super Bowl. What's your price tag then? What's your price tag then? If he beats Brady, the Niners, and Mahomes and Andy Reid, how sad would it be if the Panthers won the division? Terrible. $60 million a year is the price tag. Dude, you beat Tom Brady, you beat the Niners, and then you beat Mahomes in the Super Bowl. You're going to have a very good first of the year if you're Jalen Hurts and Clutch Sports. Here, I don't know how you don't put that out there. Like, come on. Okay. Yeah, he didn't throw for 72 touchdowns, but he won the Super Bowl. He beat Brady, and he beat Mahomes to do it. That'd be I'll tell you what, that would be a better run than the 17 team. What quarterbacks did you beat in 17? Matt Ryan and who? Who'd you beat in 17? Who'd you beat in 7? Oh, you beat Brady in the game. You beat Brady in the game. But who did you play in the NFC, the playoffs? I don't even remember. Everybody was hurt that year, right? Breeze got upset by Minnesota, right? No, I said Brady in the Super Bowl. I'm talking NFC. Who'd you beat in the NFC? Cousins. That's right. You beat Cousins. Kirk Cousins. Cousins and I think Matt Ryan. Am I right? I think you beat Atlanta, right, in the NFC title game? Yeah. Case Keenum. Case Keenum. This would be some run here. That's right. It wasn't Cousins. It was Case Keenum. You beat Case Keenum, Matt Ryan, and you beat Brady. Of course, I'll play Brady too, by the way. I don't care how many yards he threw for in that game. No, you didn't. No, it wasn't Kirk Cousins. Your boy. It was never. It was Case Keenum. Yeah, W2. Was your boy, Case Keenum. Cousins was still in Washington. My boy. That's right, man. All right, here we go. The MVP race. I have a vote. I'm going to post a vote to a very select group of people that follow our show over at Dan Sileo Show. I'm going to put a little Twitter thing together that only certain people that follow our show get a chance to see. To be the man, you got to beat the man. Wouldn't want it any other way. Flex. Right on, man. Beat Brady and beat Mahomes. Mahomes wins the MVP during the regular season. Jalen wins the Super Bowl MVP. You wouldn't want it any other way, would you? Okay. Jalen whooped your boy. He did? What guy? Oh, Aaron. Yeah. Congratulations. 4-8 Packer team. Way to go, W2. You're killing it this year. How many winning teams have the Eagles beaten this year? Let's see. Washington, Minnesota, Dallas. So 3 and 10. So 7 teams. So 3 teams out of 10. You've played 3 teams that have winning records? 4. Who's the 4th one? Who's the 4th team? I'm curious. Who's the 4th team? Let's see. What? No. Let me see here. What's it say? You beat the Vikings? Vikings, Washington, Cowboys, Washington, Vikings, Cowboys. You guys only beat 3 winning teams this year? Oh, God. Man. It's 3. 3 teams. And the last team that you played had a winning record, beat the pants off you. Jimmy J. Oh, here's the MVP race. NFL MVP race. I have a vote, and I will show it to you. My NFL alumni vote. Oh, at the time, they're not a winning team, GT. It doesn't work like that. They're not a winning team. Well, at the time they were. What are you, in college? What is this, preseason polls? Well, at the time they were. At the time they were 1-0. Oh, man. It's like following Tennessee Volunteer fan. Well, they were at the beginning of the year. Arizona will finish over 500. Yeah, okay, we'll see. 3 teams you've played over 500, and the last team you played that was 500 beat the pants off you. Damn. Here we go. MVP race. Number 10. A man who's working on a contract extension in Seattle. A 2-year, $30 million per year contract extension for Geno Smith. Can you believe that? They're working on a brand new deal for Geno Smith for $60 million. I got him at 10. Number 9. Can you believe that, Xander? I know, man. Xander goes, that's my player of the year, man. Dude, talk about people dumping on a guy. Rage. He totally deserves it. Number 9. A man who is dramatically flying up the MVP race. Our very own Paisan, Jimmy J. Garoppolo. Yeah. 4 in a row. Jimmy G killing it, man. Look at this kid. See all the girls at the Golden State Warrior game want to come up. They want to meet him. Hey, are you Jimmy Garoppolo? Congratulations. Hey, I want to meet you. Hi, Jimmy. Everyone wants to meet Jimmy G. Guy's a rock star. Jimmy Kumba. Love that dude, man. Jimmy Kumba. How you doing? I love that guy, man. Bona fortuna to you and Buona Natale to you too, my friend. Chiefs only beat 3 teams too. Okay. So you've both played shitty teams all year. Congratulations to you. Real good litmus test. Number 8. Kirk Cousins. Cousins will throw for more yards and more touchdowns than Jalen. Double. Because he has that freak show known as Justin Jefferson. Jefferson may get $2,000 to himself. Number 7, in the Big Seals MVP race, Tyreek Hill. I was wrong about this. I thought his numbers would suffer. But do you guys remember when Tyreek Hill, Xander, do you remember at the beginning of the year in training camp when Tyreek Hill was saying this? This kid, too, is more accurate than Mahomes. Everyone laughed at him and laughed him out of the building. I don't know. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying Tua is better quarterback than Mahomes. I'm not saying that. But those numbers have gone up. I mean, they've gone up for him. Touchdown numbers aren't very high. Jameson says, Jimmy G asks, hey, Jameson, what's your boy won? Name me one thing that Jalen Hurts has won more than Jimmy Garoppolo. One thing. I'll give you one. Has he won a playoff game? Oh, no. Has he won 10 games? Oh, no. Has he been to an NFC title game? Oh, no. Has he won one? No. Has he been to a Super Bowl? No. I mean, I'm running out of shit. I'm running out of stuff. Oh, and by the way, has he beaten Jalen? Yeah. Yeah, but he had a lesser team. So did Jimmy. Jimmy's got now Christian McCaffrey. He's literally 10-1. What do you win with that? A hat? Hurts is 25 TDs right now. Yeah, okay. How long has Jimmy been in the league? Well, he's 44-19-0. I don't know. 44-19-0. Come talk to me, man, when your boy does something. Let me know. How you doing? Let me know when he wins something. How many rushing yards? Jimmy doesn't need rushing yards, homie. He's a passer. He passes teams to Super Bowls. Jimmy G, 4-2 postseason. Jalen Hurts, 0-1. And crushed. 0-1. That's all you have to know. Watch this. Every time you guys say 10-1, I'm going to go 0-1. In the season that matters. 0-1. No, you mean 0-1. 10-1. No, 0-1. Please, no soccer updates. I bar soccer updates. I don't care. We got to play really great against Iran so we can finish 29th. I don't care. I don't care. Hey, Sills, did you see, man? We really played hard against Wales. Wales? Where's that? Greenland? Wales. Jalen has 17 touchdowns. Yeah, I know. He's great. Jimmy wasn't even supposed to be on the team. Isn't that crazy? And he's still leading them to wins. Okay? Still leading. Hey, Garoppolo also has – does Jimmy G have 2 Super Bowl wins too? Hold on for a minute. Don't tell me Garoppolo's got 2 Super Bowls. Does Jimmy G have 2 Super Bowls too? Jimmy Garoppolo. Wait. Hold on for a minute. Does Jimmy Garoppolo – does Jimmy Garoppolo – does this guy have – does he have a Super Bowl ring? Yeah, he's got 2 of them. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so Jimmy Garoppolo's got 2 Super Bowl rings. He's been to the Pro Bowl. He is 44-19. Okay, he's got 2 Super Bowl rings. How about that? Garoppolo's got 2 Super Bowl rings. I forgot about that. Oh, man. It's crazy great. Jimmy G's 4-2, Howie, in the postseason, just in keeping score. Number 6 on the Big Sills MVP race as we head into week 13 of the NFL. Lamar Jackson. 6th, Ravens. Now we get into the top 5. The Cincinnati Bengals, legendary quarterback who took a team to a Super Bowl in Cincinnati, Ohio. Joey B. Whew. I don't know what Jalen's going to make. I know that Joe Burrow's going to make north of $50 million. You're paying that guy. Who would you rather have, Joey B or Jalen? Who would you rather pay? How about this? Who would you rather pay $45 million to, Jalen Hurts or Joey B? Who would you rather pay the money to? Joey B or Jalen? Joey, $50 million easy. Jalen Hurts. I knew it. I can always count on Eagle. Hey, way to go. Keep to your guns, dude. Hey, man, I give it to you. Hurts. Hurts all day. Wait, Ray says something. Jimmy G has 962 playoff yards in 7 games. Put that back up there for me. Put up Razor. Jimmy G has 962 playoff yards in 7 games. That's 137 yards a game, 4 TDs in 7 games. Sounds to me like he wasn't the bus driver. Hey, Ray, ask yourself the question, when Garoppolo's not the starter in San Francisco, what's Kyle Shanahan's record? 9-29. Sounds to me like he's the engine. Jalen was the caboose last year. Niners lost 2. Bears, Falcons, Broncos. That's scary. And you lost to the Commanders. With Tyler Heineke. And Jalen beaten last year by Daniel Jones. That's pretty good. He's got Aaron Rodgers on his resume and Kirk Cousins. And he's lost to Tyler Heineke and Daniel Jones. Got it. Sounds like we're in there. Sounds like we're in there. Number 4, now in the top 4 for the MVP race. Josh Machine Gun Allen for the Buffalo Bills, number 4. Whew. What an arm. What a talent. Got to stop with the red zone turnovers. But what a talent. Incredible. Spectacular talent. Now we are in the top 3. To recap, Gino at 10, Seahawks. Jimmy G, 9, Niners. 8, Kirk Cousins, Vikings. 7, Tyreek Hill, Dolphins. 6, Lamar Jackson, Ravens. 5, Joey B, Cincinnati Bengals. Number 4, Josh Rifle Allen, Bills. Here are your 3. A player who's won his job. I had a lot of reservations at the beginning of the year. And this player went into this season not knowing if he would play the next year as a starting quarterback of his franchise. They put a lot of talent around him. They've given him everything that he needs to succeed. Tua Tagovailoa is number 3. He's had a great year. He really has. Kudos to him too, man. And now here are your top 2. I can't believe I got this guy here. I can't believe that I've relented and I've got this guy here at 2. 2. 2. I mean, Kyle took over for Chip Kelly after he destroyed the Niners. Team was rebuilding. They was winning despite of Jimmy. No, they were never winning. He's 9-29. He's been in San Francisco 5 years. Number 2. Jalen Hurts is number 2. Congratulations to you, kid. You're actually showing me that you can play the position fairly well. Congratulations to you. Your team's 10-1. People talking nice about you. Let's see if you can bring it home, baby. Because that's all that matters now. 10-1 will be an afterthought once you get to the playoffs. Afterthought. Right now, my book, he's 0-1. And, of course, the arm in the league and the face of the National Football League is Patrick Mahomes. Face of the NFL. Geno Smith at 10. Jimmy G at 9. Kirk Cousins at 8. Tyreek Hill at 7. Lamar Jackson at 6. Joe Burrow at 5. Josh Allen 4. Tua 3. Hurts 2. And Mahomes 1. We shall see where my vote goes this year. If Jalen Hurts finishes strong, I'll give it to him. If you convince me enough, I'll give you Mahomes. Jalen proved Dan Sileo knows nothing. Jalen Hurts has proved nothing. What has he won? What has he proven, W2? You've beaten 3 winning teams. Nobody really good on the schedule. Like everyone else in the league. What have you won? What have you won? What? What have you won? Oh, 2-4. Yes, DT. I told you Fletcher Cox also would suck this year. Did I not? And shouldn't be on the team. Did I not say that? Did I not tell you should not resign Fletcher Cox? It's a mistake. Yeah, he's a good player, man. He was really, you see him? I'm like, yeah, okay, guy, whatever. Fletcher, $14 million waste. Congratulations. Okay. God, we still got the Milk Carton Eagles. Have you seen these guys? Top 10 NFL teams. Got that for you? Also, the quarterback rankings, different than the MVP race. We got that for you. Plus, in this hour, we're going to talk to Blaine Bishop, part of the broadcast team for the Tennessee Titans. We're going to get their thoughts on what is going on. I like this kid, Malik Willis, by the way. I think he's a pretty good football player. Tannehill a couple weeks ago threw for 331. What Cousins will we see? Get this, too. So you know, I believe Blaine Bishop. Guys, am I right when I say this? Hassan! Yeah, he shows up every now and then. Hassan will show up every now and then. Yeah, Hassan. Can't tackle, can't cover, but he's a decent sack guy. No, you're right. Money well spent on a guy who can't tackle, and your run defense is part of the reason he's there. You ever think it's a coincidence? Third team in 3 years. Why? Because he can't play the run. How you doing? How you doing? By the way, Blaine Bishop played with Brian Dawkins on the Eagles. Hour number 3. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
At Pond Lehocky, we've recovered billions of dollars for our clients, and we're confident we can do the same for you. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured clients obtain some of the largest settlements in Pennsylvania. One conversation is all it takes to help you and your family get back on track. If you've been injured in an accident, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Jim Gardner is an icon.
A Philadelphia treasure.
He's a mentor, a pace setter.
Jim is my North Star.
He's trusted,
Revered.
Appreciated.
he is Action News,
He's compassionate. Honest.
and fair,
He is extremely dedicated.
motivated, and always seeking the truth.
He's also funny. We are a team of many.
Jim Gardner is our leader, and we're lucky to have him.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction. Go with trust.
Go Birds!
And go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia dreams. Oh, and go Birds.
We all know that taxes are just part of life. It's true during our working years, but also in retirement. But what you might not know is up to 85% of your Social Security benefits might be taxed. Our team at Thrive Financial has helped retire thousands of people across the Delaware Valley by asking questions they never knew they needed to ask, including how their Social Security benefits might be taxed. It's time to be proactive on taxes. Get your Thrive Retirement Tax Playbook today.
Sills, our 3 National Football Show. Odell Beckham is meeting with the Dallas Cowboys on December 5th. And boy, is that going to change the landscape of the Cowboys. They're coming for you. Hit the like button. Blaine Bishop, part of the broadcast team for the Tennessee Titans, will join us. Former Pro Bowler 5 times will be with us in this hour at around 5:30 Eastern Time. Odell Beckham joining the Cowboys. Beckham, CeeDee Lamb, they got a better tight end than you right now. They don't have a better running game. Do they have a better quarterback? As of today, you're not better than Dak. You haven't beaten him like ever. 7-3 versus you. It's wishful thinking. As of today, it's wishful thinking because you haven't done it. You may think about it. You may dream about it. You may hope for it. Reality is you haven't beaten Dak since 19. So whatever you say is irrelevant. Sills, get Big Cat of PFT from Pardon My Take On. Okay. I know who Big Cat is. Is that Barstool? I think that's Barstool. You have not. Is this the Eagles Network or what? You're God. Yeah. Perspective, my friend. No. Get this, W2. Is this an Eagles Network or what? It's or what? It's not a cheerleading network. Nobody cheerleads here. There's no cheerleading. We cover things. See, that's why I wear Clark Kent glasses, because I know you can't take Superman. It's okay, son. It's okay. We've got a ton of cheerleaders. I need the big cells. Going bobbing and weaving, man. Hey, man. There's just nothing really to talk bad about. It's the island of misfit toys. No, it's 10-1. Kidding me? You better cling to that. 10-1, baby. Hey, real quick before I reset and get into my QB ranking, the Milk Carton Eagles, top 10 NFL teams. So let me get this right. That scumbag Hugh Freeze can get a job, but Art Briles can't, who was cleared of all charges at Baylor. But anytime Art Briles gets an opportunity to get a chance to coach, everyone screams at the highest mountain on what a bad guy Art Briles is. Art Briles is a good guy. Got caught up in a bad thing at Baylor. He's a hell of a coach. This guy played for Bill Yeoman. And one of the things that was tragic about Art Briles, Bill Yeoman didn't want to tell him, as his parents used to come and watch him play when he played at Houston, that they were killed in a car accident so that he could continue to play. And Yeoman called him in and said, I'm sorry to tell you this. The journey that guy's been on, and the father figure that Art Briles has been to people, only the scumbag media people that I work with are those kind of people who still cast at whoever they figure and whoever they want the rock to hit. People in my business are bad people. Not all. Guys like D. Gunn are spectacular. But people in my business are terrible humans. They'll throw rocks at people who they intend to hit and give passes on people like Hugh Freeze. Hugh Freeze is not a good man. Auburn's reasoning was he was the proper fit for us now. What's that mean? So when you walk into a kid's house and you're recruiting that kid, and he's being raised by a single parent, and you're going to tell him, I'm going to raise him like my own kid, and you've had all those things happen to you at Ole Miss. What a lowlife. I would never send my kid to Urban Meyer or people like Hugh Freeze. I tell my kid I'd rather have you lose than play for a lowlife guy like that. I know it's about winning. I'm not trying to give you rainbows and butterflies and, pots of gold here. But you got to stand for something. And if you don't, you'll fall for everything. Something in your life you've got to stand for. I mean, you don't have to be the greatest guy on the planet, but you got to be at least a decent dude. You know? And to come up with some bullshit on why Deion didn't get the Auburn job. Well, you know, the IMG business thing. This guy was trolling for whores and using department money to buy whores. When he was recruiting, he would be in a kid's home that night, recruit that kid, tell the parents what a good place he was there with him at Ole Miss, and then he would go see a prostitute right after that. That's some recruiting trip. What a scumbag. Another great. Hey, if I were Alabama fans, I'd be like, thank God Auburn's around because they'll make the shitty hire. Hookers and blow. What a great recruiting trip, huh? Shit, man. You go on a recruiting trip with Hugh Freeze, you get whores and blow. That's some Auburn recruiting trip. Man. Hey, how was your recruiting trip, son? I don't know. They picked me up in a joy wagon, and I went to a strip club, and there were rails everywhere, man. What do you mean rails? Yeah, rails of coke and the chicks. I mean, there were whores everywhere. What'd you do? I signed. I signed. Are you kidding me? Whores and blow? Hugh Freeze? Shit, Nils? Are you kidding me? This is like SMU reinvented. Holy cow. Give me whores and blow. I'm ready to sign with Auburn, man. Let's go, baby. How you doing? He gets the job at Auburn. Xander must be going, thank God they hired Hugh Freeze. Watch this. He's a good coach, but it'll take him 2 years before it all unravels. You'll hear this. Hugh Freeze caught in a massage parlor. Oh, wait. Hey, man, Bob Kraft can get off. Hugh Freeze can get off. Is that fair to say? Did I just say get off, massage parlor? Bob Kraft, Hugh Freeze? Huh. I don't know. I got to go. Holy cow, man. Hey, did you sign? Shit, yeah, I signed. I'm an Auburn Tiger now. Oh. They said Sileo like blow in a cereal. Dude, do I look like a guy that needed blow? That wouldn't be something for me. I'd be too afraid of that shit. I was already out of my mind. I will drop my Niners and Finn's prediction on Sills on Friday show. Whores and blow. Go get them, baby. Holy cow. All right. C.J. Johnson-Gardner being out. Massive loss, I think, because it hurts your boy Jonathan Gannon's defense. This is what he is. Jonathan Gannon needs to run to Howie every time there's a problem on his defense to get him more players. This guy's like a crack addict. Give me more. Give me more. He thinks he's going to go to the bus stop and find another guy on the street and plug him in for Gardner. Johnson. I need someone else. Help me. Help me. I mean, dude, we've signed every guy we can find. If you're Howie Roseman and you looked at Jonathan Gannon today, and Gannon goes, what are we going to do? What did Howie go? Dude, I've signed every single guy that we possibly could sign. Who do you want me to sign? There's no one left. Howie has pretty much picked up and turned over every rock for a guy. And this guy got me. I lost my guy. Number one in INTs. I know. Oh, wait. Vlad goes, wait a minute. He didn't get Melvin Gordon. I don't think he wants to have turnovers. Melvin Gordon's a turnover machine. Right? Hey, you signed Melvin Gordon. Why? I'd be like, why? Reed Blankenship looked really good. Not all the time. Big Sale, Stanford should hire Art Briles. Dennis Shaw sucks. Coach Shaw at Stanford blows. When are they going to – he makes $9.5 million a year. The guy at Stanford sucks. Okay? But they're afraid to fire him. Let me see when the last time he's had a winning record. I mean, he has sucked. Dennis Shaw's record at Stanford. Coach Shaw's record at Stanford. David Shaw, let's see what his record. When's the last time David Shaw had a winning record? David Shaw, Stanford.
According to Wikipedia, David Lorenzo.
Here's David Shaw's record. We'll move on here in a minute. This guy makes $9.5 million a year. 9.5. Let's see what his record is. He's 3-9 this year. He was 3-9 last year. He was 4-2 in COVID. Before that, he was 4-8. 1, 2, 3, 4. In the last 4 years, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He's won 14 games in 4 years. And he makes $10 million a year. Dude, let's go. Let's go. Dude, $9 million. I'd like to see him, though. Can I say this? I'd like to see David Shaw. David Shaw would have been good at that Auburn job. Okay? You don't have the resources at Stanford because the education is such in the way there. You want to win Pac-12 championships, you don't go to Stanford. You want to win national championships? If you want to win national championships, you don't go to Stanford or Notre Dame. That's not where you go to win national titles because the grades are in the way. It's a fact. No, they're great schools. You want to be a molecular engineer, you want to work on Facebook or Twitter and want to be one of those commies, you go to Notre Dame and Stanford. They'll hook you up. You want to win championships, you don't go there. You don't go to those schools. Why do you think the guy at LSU, Brian Kelly, left Notre Dame? He knew he was never going to win there. He was never going to win there. All right. The injury to CJ Gardner-Johnson is significant. Okay? It's significant. Under 2.9 GPA is not welcome. You're never getting into – that's right. You're not getting into Stanford like that. SEC only? Damn right, man. Dallas Goedert's injury causes Jalen to put the run threat back in the toolbox. Yeah, because there is no passing game without Dallas Goedert. Look at your last 3 weeks. The injury to CJ is significant. Okay. Let's do the Eagle milk carton kids. We do this every week. These are players that I haven't seen. And that if you can, please call the NovaCare Center at 1-800-HOWIE-HELP. That's 1-800. Hold on. 1-800. Call the NovaCare Center at 1-800-HOWIE-HELP. We have counselors that are ready on standby that will talk you through this because you haven't seen these Eagles. Trust me when I tell you, there'll be a help representative there on call 24 hours a day to see if, you have any leads if you've seen any of these players. Number 1, A.J. Brown. Bro, you look not very good the last 3 weeks. You are not very good. I got a touchdown. Yeah. Bro, your stats talk. You're putting the ball on the ground. Snap out of it. Let's go. Snap out of it. $25 million. And that will always be brought up. Let's go, kid. Okay. Yes, this is the NovaCare Center. I have a lead for you on this one player on the milk carton. Yeah, the milk carton Eagles. You know, on the Sileo show on JAKIB Sports. Yes, you know the milk carton? Yeah, listen, I hate to do this to you, bud. Have you seen Robert Quinn? Does he still play there? He does. Robert Quinn, you know, the North Carolina kid, was at Chicago. Howie gave a 4th rounder up for him. Yeah. Right. Well, I have a leave. I saw him at Wawa. No, I didn't see him in the game against the Packers. I don't even know if did he play? Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, well, I'm here to help. Will you please tell 1-800-HOWIE? Hey, who am I speaking to? You're not at liberty to say? Is this Howie? Listen, I'm just telling you. Do me a favor. Please send somebody out. If we have to, we could get smoke signals, and I could go to my TP, and we could start doing TP smoke signals. Have you seen Robert Quinn? Oh. Okay. Got to make the call again. 1-800-HOWIE help. Yeah, I'm sorry to call again, but here's another milk carton guy. Your entire tight end position. So was there only one tight end? Like on the Eagle roster? How many tight ends do you carry? 3. Okay, well, they've got to be on the milk carton guys. I mean, I have not seen a tight end for the Eagles in 3 weeks. The entire position. Do you have any other tight ends? Okay, you do? Well, 1-800-HOWIE help. Thank you. Whew. The entire tight end position belongs on a milk carton box. Okay. Here's the last one. Many of you have said it. Yes, it's me again. Yes, it's me again. What happened to Kaiser? Where is Kaiser White? It's been like 2 weeks. Where is he? Get Kaiser White, A.J. Brown, Robert Quinn, and your entire tight end position on the milk cartons. Do you know how expensive that is to put faces of Philadelphia Eagle guys on the milk cartons and send them around the Philadelphia area, especially South Philly? Not good. This costs me money. Yes. Thank you. No, I don't know. I was between Kaiser and Hardgrave. Yeah, okay. It's okay. Good. Those are your milk carton guys. Those are your milk carton guys. By the way, we do have a missing persons report on Nakobe Dean. I still haven't seen that guy in like 14 weeks, and I don't know. I think he could be out to sea somewhere, or either that, or he's like, is Nakobe Dean Mormon? Guys, is Nakobe Dean Mormon? Is he on a mission? Is Nakobe Dean on a mission? I hear he's like, because, Tebow used to go to the Philippines and cut penises and such. It's true. He used to give circumcisions on his on his journey when he was over there. So I'm just curious, what's Nakobe doing? He's got to be on a mission or something, right? Philippines or someplace. He's got to be in China, whatever. AJ never had 100 receiving and never will. He's still at A1. Yeah, he's never going to have 100 catches in a year in his career. Ever. Then again, this will be another year where you spent $100 million in a first-round draft choice and you still don't have a 100-catch guy, and the Dolphins will have 2. And you got an MVP guy, right? So the MVP guy, how come he don't spread the love around? You're going to have Jalen Hurts and what's his name, A.J. Brown with no 100 catches. So if you're a wide receiver, do you want to play in Philly? Do you really want to play in Philly if you're not the main dude? Do you want to play in Philly? You ain't getting numbers. Devontae's not. This guy gets more 5-yard passes thrown to him than any. It's like a soccer match. Oh, Team USA beat Iran. Great. Congratulations. You'll finish 50th. Please tell me Jordan Mailata and Landon Dickerson. No. You can't put any of those O-linemen in that milk carton box, dude. You ran for 363. Nobody gets put on that box when you run for 363. Sorry, I'm not doing it. 2 backs over 150 yards rushing or 120 yards rushing? I don't think so. Big Sills ain't going there. No way. Hey, Landon Dickerson and Jordan Mailata belong on that. Really? They ran for 363. I don't know. I'm not putting anybody on there. Okay? I see Smitty punching out to play with Tua and Waddle. Wow, Neil. Wow. Yeah, because he wants to go to a quarterback that can get him some throw him the deep ball. Where is Waddle going to get 44 catches in the next game? Great point. Let's see here. It's 6 games. Jalen Waddle stats. He had 104 last year. Dude, he's at 960. Hold on for a second. This guy's had 56 catches for almost 1,000 yards already. He's got like 40 less catches. No, excuse me, 50 less catches, and he'll double his number in yards. Where is he going to get the 40 catches? You mean when this year is done, he's going to have 1,400 receiving yards on about 75 catches. Your guy will have 87 catches for 200 yards. Wow. I don't know. Less catches, more yards. I think that's the key, isn't it? Whoa. AJ has 900 yards. Yeah, the other guy don't. The other guy doesn't. How many rushing attempts do the Dolphins have as a team? Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? How many rushing teams won the Super Bowl last year? Let me think. What were the rushing teams, the number 1 rushing teams last year? How'd they do in the playoffs? How did the Titans do? How'd the Eagles do? How did all those running teams do in the playoffs last year? Boom. You know what that is? Boom. Duds. Boom. Boom. Hey, man. Wow. So you win Super Bowls exclusively through the air, huh? Ask Walter Payton. Walter Payton was okay in that. That was a defensive football team, that 85 Bears. And it's a different league today. They didn't throw the ball 50 times a game. They threw it 20. McMahon was barely healthy. Jim McMahon never played a full season in his entire 17-year career. Bears never had a quarterback, like ever. Sid Luckman. Sid Luckman. Back in the day. The greatness of Sid Luckman. We're going to catch up with our friend, Blaine Bishop here in a second. Here now are our quarterback rankings heading into week 13. Whew. These are the guys that are leading their teams and playing the best quarterback in the NFL. Number 10. Excuse me. Lamar Jackson. Fun to watch. Hope he has a great playoff run because he's gambled on himself. Number 9. Gino. Keep it up, my friend. Keep it up. I can't believe the job that he's done. Actually, I think the job that Geno Smith has done has been remarkable. Now so much so that they're working on a 2-year contract extension for him at $35 million a year. Here's a guy that was thrown to the Wolves, and nobody said anything, and he's actually outplaying Russell Wilson, and the Seahawks are leading the West along with San Francisco. How insane is that? I mean, kudos to him. Shows you what good coaching can mean. And this weekend, the Eagles are going to be taking on a good football team, coached by, in my opinion, the best coach in the National Football League, in Mike Vrabel. We bring in our friend Blaine Bishop. He is a local radio guy, 5-time Pro Bowler, and works on the broadcast team with them. Hey, Blaine, before we get going, man, I appreciate you doing this. You played with Brian Dawkins for a year, didn't you?
B-Dog. Oh, man.
You played with him for a year, right?
Yes, I did, man. What an incredible human being, let alone a fantastic player, man. He was phenomenal, man. He actually should have won Defensive Player of the Year there. I was there that year. I think he scored blocking kick, interception, pick, fumble. I think he even returned a punt. I mean, it was phenomenal. Brian Dawkins is the most talented. He could have played corner, but he was too aggressive natured. He had those kind of skill sets. So yeah, and I was with Bobby Taylor as well as Troy Vincent. And so we had a heck of a team. That's when we got beat by Tampa, and Tampa went on to win the Super Bowl.
Boy, I'll tell you, and I always tell people this, I thought that NFC Championship game, Blaine, I thought those were the two most talented teams in the league that year. Do you agree?
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's probably, I've been on 3 teams I thought were Super Bowl worthy type teams, and they are one of them. I was only there 1 year, and then 2000 team with the Titans, actually 4 teams, and then we went to the year we went to the Super Bowl with the Titans. I didn't know we were a Super Bowl team, but my rookie year in '93 was really talented group with Warren Moon leading the charge. I got to play 1 year with Warren Moon and William Fuller, Sean Jones, Ray Childers. The list goes on. Chris Dishman. So my rookie year, I got a dose of old school, rock'em sock'em. We don't mess around playing ball. And
was Bruce Matthews on that team?
Yeah, Bruce Matthews on offense.
Was Munchak?
Yeah, Munchak. That was his last year playing. He never practiced. He played. He was just killing people out there. So yeah, they had that was Brad Hopkins. I was in his draft. We were rookies. David Williams was the other tackle, and I think Dawson was
Man, that's a heck of an old line. I played against David when he was at Florida, and Bruce Matthews and Munchak. And this was back in the day when Glanville was there, because Alonzo was drafted initially, and so were you, to the Houston Oilers.
Yes.
And so I got down there. I was there. You guys had this big giant guy by the name of Doug Smith. And Doug was there for a little bit, and then he got in trouble with something, and they had me there for about a month. I almost became an Oiler. Let's get into the modern day guys. Is this team as good this weekend? The Eagles are going to be taking on this Titan team. Is this Titans team as good as the team a year ago?
No. And it starts with their identity of their team. Let's first start with they don't have AJ Brown. So that.
So hey, do you feel the loss? You feel the loss, Blaine? Blaine, do you feel the loss of AJ Brown not being on that Titans team?
I would say absolutely. His big playability and without, a lot of targets and those things. And they knew they were going to miss him, but their philosophy is to run the football. So they weren't going to, give him $25 million, and they throw the ball to a guy 4 times a game. That's just what they were going to do, regardless if he was making plays or not. He was an elite level player. I told you he was when I came on here before. He was a number 1. And he's shown that since he's been there. And I know he has some fumbling issue, but he is a number 1. He is the real deal. He wants it. He wants that, that glory, that spotlight. He rises to the occasion. He's just that dude. But this team is not as good. The Titans is because of their offensive line. They're nowhere near as good, and their identity to be physical. A couple guys probably should be backups, and maybe one of them, Dennis Staley, should be maybe, I don't know, maybe not even in the league or, the top 2, maybe on the practice squad. But he's gotten better each and every game. Got a rookie at right tackle, Petit Frere, rookie 3rd round pick from Ohio State. Then you got an undersized guard at, because we replacing Saffold and Brewer. And then Ben Jones has been out the last couple of weeks. So then they have a 2nd rounder, that hasn't shown up. He was a tackle drafted. Dylan Radins, and he only spot plays when somebody's hurt. And so that's why, and it's kind of amazing. Everybody talks about Derrick Henry. Well, Derrick Henry's doing it with an average or maybe even below average offensive line. And he's still, 2nd in the league in rushing. And he only had 17 carries for 38 yards, but everybody's still game planning to stop him, which is opening the pass game. So that's one thing we've seen over the last 3 weeks now that Tannehill is back. He's still injured, but they are throwing the ball more these last 3 weeks than I've seen them throw the previous 6 weeks.
Blaine, do you agree then that that's why we see the inconsistent swings with the team, is because 1 week, there's a great matchup for your guys in the O-line, and Henry goes for over 100 yards, and then the next week you're seeing a guy held under 40 yards because it's just really about the matchups right now and the depth level that you have in the offensive line. But you think it's opening up a little bit more now that Ryan's back. And I really like, Malik Willis. I think that he's going to bring a dynamic, maybe future to the team, but there's nothing like an experienced quarterback. And you think that's helping out Derrick Henry over the last few weeks, at least in the fact that you could get play action back.
Yeah, he's the key cog, regardless of his numbers. And then that's what I have to address with the fans, is that even though he's not getting the numbers, he's getting the carries and he's getting addressed, and that's helping open up the pass game, because now they're getting one-on-one matchups, and he's throwing for 250. Everybody saw him play against Green Bay the other night. Now, you could say what you want to say about Green Bay, but their defense is, it's not, they're top 15 in the league, overall. So yeah, Tannehill is an efficient passer. He played well last week in the loss. I really wanted to see him get the ball at the end, but they got a penalty there to see if he could drive down against Joe Burrow and the Bengals, to see if he could come away with a touchdown, because he has a pretty good record versus the elite quarterbacks in the National Football League. So he's nothing to slouch about, but he's not, Hall of Fame or, one of the top quarterbacks in that. He probably not even top 15, but he's very efficient in this offense and how they utilize him. So yes. And then on Malik Willis, I know the national media is making him out like he is really far from being a starter in the National Football League. Let's start there. Now, he does have a lot of upside and potential, and he's a fast learner. Every game he plays, every rep he does in live action, he gets better from preseason to, but that's how far he has to go. We went in the game against the Chiefs. We only threw the ball 10 times. Wow. Can't win an NFL game like that. And guess what? They almost won the game.
Yeah.
So that's where they don't trust him to throw the ball and go through the progression reads. And now, is he an athlete? Can he run? Does he have a bazooka? Yes, he's got an arm. But as far, he was in a shotgun, almost like he was playing high school ball at Liberty, and he was the best player, and he could run or throw from anywhere on the field. And so the NFL, as you know, he can't do that. There's some linebackers going to chase him down. They're going to chase him down. So that's where we at with him. But he's showed progress even in those 2 games that he started. So I think he's got a chance to be, at this point in time, I would still consider him only a backup in this league. The potential of his upside is up there, but I don't know if he can even get to that to be a starter even next season.
Wow. So he's a far cry away from being a starter in this league. Tell me about Mike Vrabel. And how you know, you're there every day, you see it. Do you think the organization gives him every single thing that he needs to be successful? Because I got to think this here, man. I mean, you let AJ walk out the building. Okay, I don't know if that was a collective group. And by the way, I believe your general manager is one of the better general managers in the National Football League, at least from the outside in. But, you know, there just seems to be, Blaine, one lost piece in this whole dynamic. Look, right now you're currently sitting, where are you guys? You guys are right now currently sitting in the 3-hole in the AFC playoff picture. Okay, you're only Dolphins and Chiefs are ahead of you guys right now. You're third. I mean, but do they give him enough? Because I think he's one of the top coaches in the NFL. Do they do enough for him?
Well, let's start with where he's at in the NFL. He is definitely an elite level coach in the National Football League, without a question. I've seen the maturation process, and he had a lot to go from day one to all the way till now. He is at the top, and I think he does his best work, and I call it Vrabalism, is that he does the best with less. I mean, you got a shambled offensive line. Your identity is running the football, and you got guys that should be backups in this league on half the line. So, and then all these injuries, and I know every team's had injury. Well, the Titans are leading the league again. And somehow, some way, he's figured out without A.J. Brown. Now, I don't think he was on board with them trading A.J. Brown. That's just a guess because of his facial reaction when that happened. He went into, dog face like, this is going to be tough. So I think John Robinson has done a good job. Not only he's missed on some of them. Isaiah Wilson being a first-round pick, that's hard to do. That's why the offensive line is in trouble. He was a first-round pick. Dylan Radins, who's a second-round pick the next year, trying to fix your mess up, and that hasn't worked out either. Now, I can say with picking up routine veterans on the street, he is amazing. 4th round and after, later draft guys, great. It's the top picks, and I think because he shoots for the star, Caleb Farley, cornerback from Virginia Tech, no can do. He can't run anymore. He's torn both ACLs before he got to the Titans. They took a risk. It was a gamble. 6'2", can run with the wind, and then now it's 2 back surgeries, and now he's injured again. And I don't think he'll ever be what he used to be in college. And so that's another high pick that hurts. So they patchwork that with veterans at cornerback, and that's John Robinson. I think he controls that more than anything, and Vrabel does an excellent job. So together they are elite. They get the most out of less, and so right now they're sitting in the middle. I'm a little surprised that I just don't know if they can play with the elite teams. That's really the only question. And when I say that, it ain't it's just not the elite team. It's can Tannehill carry them over the top? Because at some point in time, as you know, that the quarterback is the key. Like we get to run Derrick Henry again. When we get in the playoffs, you get, everybody's going. Well, he's not going to get more than 50 yards. He's not going to get 70. He's not going to get 100. Yeah. And then that's where the quarterback has to come play. So really, that's all needs to be determined. When we played the elite teams, so we lost last week to the Bengals. Now we had playing another elite team, the best team record-wise in the National Football League, and deservingly so. How do you stack up against them? Now, our style of running the football, at least based off what I saw on, watching on TV, is that they kind of got some holes, and that may be their only hole on defense is they're kind of, got some holes there in the run defense, and because of a player missing. But if they get him back, or if they replace those, they'll be right there like everybody else, and then they'll be forced to pass and then get after the quarterback, and then Tannehill's got to win. And he's kind of still gimping on the ankle, by the way. It's not all the way healed. And it's never going to be healed, but he's a quarterback and he's got to play. So
Blaine, how good is the defense? Blaine, the kid Simmons in the middle is a special defensive tackle, I think. Mm-hmm. And I think they've got some players in there, but just give me your overall synopsis on the defense that the Titans have coming into Sunday's game.
Man, besides this last game, which I was stunned, the Bengals kind of held for it. Now, I say that because I'm looking at comparing them to last year when they beat us in the playoffs. The Titans got 9 sacks and lost. I was assuming that they were going to get, 6, 5. They got 1. They got one in this game. So the Bengals offensive line is finally coming together.
Yep.
You know, they put some pieces together, and you know, with offensive linemen, it takes a minute to gel to work as a one unit. And they came together in the Titans game, and they were getting better each and every game. You could tell. So I was a little shocked. But the defensive line, just the front four, have been dominating every game, pretty much, except for the first game against the Giants. They have dominated. Now, Danico Autry is out, and this was the first game that they played without him in the Bengals game. And Jeffrey Simmons is nicked up with an ankle. No one will say how bad, but he missed a game. He missed a game, and then he came back against Green Bay and kind of didn't show up until the end. Before that, he was dominating games. I mean, games from the beginning to end. So you are right on point. He has to be at the top of the top defensive tackles in the National Football League. Now, he's still a little gimpy. You know, it's like, you know, big elephant or giraffe. Once you hurt that toe, that ankle, you know, you're not quite the same. But he is a special, special talent. That was another roll the dice by John Robinson. He tore his ACL training, and they got lucky, and he dropped to 15. So that was a finding. That one worked out. So he's a special, special player, leader. But they have other guys. Dupree, when he's healthy, he plays. He's solid. We got some journeymen there who have shown they're productive everywhere they go. So we're talking about Strong, Walker, Edwards. So they've got some players. Weaver, young guy. They kind of do it as a group. But Autry being out last week made me think a little bit differently. Like, what he's kind of the key call, because he had 7 sacks. Underrated player, veteran player. He's been solid since he got here last season from the Colts. So they have been dominant. They were dominant this game. They only gave up 58 yards rushing by the P. Ryan, but Burrow was the killer, and he's a special, special player. I almost want to say he's a little bit more to my preference, what I want in my quarterback.
Me too.
Than Mahomes, because Mahomes takes risk. He deals with what the defense is presenting him. He's going to find a way to beat it. He doesn't get impatient. He's cool with customers. He's Broadway Joe Namath. He's Joe Montana, all in one with a little more athleticism, and that's that dangerous deal. They're going to be in the hunt again, man. I was literally surprised that they came in here in Tennessee and beat the Titans. I was assuming that the Titans, you can call it a revenge game, you can't get it back, but usually the team the next year, the other team beats that team because you're so pissed that they beat you. But they are the real deal.
Let me get your final thoughts here on Jalen Hurts and what you've seen so far this year. Blaine, you and I and I love your comment, because to me, you and me are the old school guys where you got to win from the pocket. These running quarterbacks, they have a low ceiling when it comes to career. Michael Vick, Lamar Jackson, how many times he's been banged up the last couple of years? The guys who are these mobile guys and these RPO guys, it's great during the regular season, but for some reason in the postseason, it just doesn't really translate to winning. How do you see Hurts? Because he's maybe the best RPO quarterback I've seen run that system. They're 10-1. Give me your take on what you see with him so far from an outside looking in.
Well, I gave you my opinion about him last year. I thought he's a growing quarterback. And really why I say that is I watched his career from Alabama to Oklahoma and how he improved as a passer. And I think he was going to go through that same maturation process, because I think this guy's a grinder. He's going to figure it out. He's going to work on his weaknesses. And he's a leader, and he's a coach's kid. So I told you last year that I thought he was going to improve as a passer, and that looks like what he's done. Now, does he still lean on running the football? Yes, but he's learned how to slide. Now, don't forget he was a weightlifting champion. No quarterback can say that. So this guy is strong, well-built, mechanically throwing the ball through the legs with an extension of your arm. So I think he's continually getting better, and they're catching him on the uptick. And now the caveat is he's learning how to play in the pocket, but running when he has to. I know, he had 125 yards and 125 yards passing and throwing at halftime or whatever the number was, and that was a record in the NFL. So I'm really big on those attributes, let alone who he is as a person. And I like it, because here's why I say that. He got benched in the national championship game. And I know we're talking about college, and the college is different than pro, but it tells you a little bit about who he was. He stood there and acted though he was still starting and was cheering, and it was genuine. You could tell.
It was.
And then he went back to the grinder and said, okay, once he left after he graduated, went to Oklahoma. Now he chose Oklahoma, so he wants to show that he could throw the ball. See, another challenge. You say, I can't throw, not an efficient thrower. I'm going to go to a throwing school. They throw it around the yard. He looked like a different player. And then he's gotten to the league. I got the opportunity to start halfway through a season. He looked kind of rough around the edges, still working on learning the game in the NFL, and still not quite efficient in passing the ball. Accuracy for intermediate, the throws you got to make all over the place in the NFL is different than college. And he continues to grow and improve. So it tells me a little bit about who he is as a worker. And then once you get that with the background that he has and the solid personality, I think the sky's the limit. And I think we're just getting a taste of what he can be as a quarterback.
10-1 on the season here. Blaine, you were spectacular, man. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Brother, I love you very much. And, man,
always
goes back a long ways now, man. I'm proud to be your friend. And thank you so much for doing this, brother.
Man, appreciate you having on, man. I appreciate it, man. Happy holidays, Vaughn. Get a chance to catch up.
You got it. Blaine Bishop, 5-time Pro Bowler, truly one of the great players. We really appreciate it. Hit the like button. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
At Pond Lehocky, we've recovered billions of dollars for our clients, and we're confident we can do the same for you. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured clients obtain some of the largest settlements in Pennsylvania. One conversation is all it takes to help you and your family get back on track. If you've been injured in an accident, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Jim Gardner is an icon.
A Philadelphia treasure.
He's a mentor, a pace setter.
Jim is my North Star.
He's trusted,
revered,
Appreciated.
he is Action News,
He's compassionate. Honest.
and fair,
he is extremely dedicated,
motivated, and always seeking the truth.
He's also funny. We are a team of many.
Jim Gardner is our leader, and we're lucky to have him.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction. Go with trust.
Go Birds!
And go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia dreams. Oh, and go Birds.
We all know that taxes are just part of life. It's true during our working years, but also in retirement. But what you might not know is up to 85% of your Social Security benefits might be taxed. Our team at Thrive Financial has helped retire thousands of people across the Delaware Valley by asking questions they never knew they needed to ask, including how their Social Security benefits might be taxed. It's time to be proactive on taxes. Get your Thrive Retirement Tax Playbook today.
I'm going to save that list in my QB rank for tomorrow, along with our top 10 NFL teams. I want to give it proper. I want to give it proper justice. Yeah. Did you hear what he said about Joey B? That guy's the real deal. That's a quarterback. That's a guy you drop $50 million on. Not the RPO. I don't know. I like the guy that sits back there. You? No. You? No. How about you? Like watching the Big 12. When I watch Jalen Hurts play, it's like watching like 1973 Ohio State football. 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Drew. That's all I see when I watch Eagle games. Jesus, grab me. Watching Kansas State. Sorry, Barrett. I like those guys that sit back there and just throw that pill, man. Just throw it. Here's the Eagles. You want to know why nobody's talking about you? You're not very entertaining. You know why nobody's talking about the Eagles 10-1 season? Because nobody is entertained by you. That's not an entertaining football team to watch. I hate to say it. Okay, could it win the Super Bowl? Yes. Are you like must-see television? No. No. Watching Dak F up is must-see television. Watching Josh Allen throw for 500 yards and 3 picks and 3 touchdowns is must-see TV. Watching Jalen Hurts run the triple option is not. Is not. I hate to tell you this. It's why no one's respecting your 10-1 season. I heard Stephen A. Smith say that the Eagles were the 5th best team in the league. I almost fell off my chair. I'm like, how? No. You mean they're the 5th least impressive team to watch? There's nothing sexy about 363 yards running the ball. It's boring football. In today's NFL, when people are fantasy football guys and they like prop bets, the Eagles aren't your bet. That's right, Vlad, but it works. Right. But this is why no one's giving you your justice. You're boring. It's okay to be boring, though. It's okay. As long as the result is winning. You sit in the weeds, and then when they play you, you pound them into submission. I get it. This is why Dana White doesn't like grapplers. He likes strikers in MMA. He doesn't want a guy getting you on the mat and wrestling you. Why is that? It's not entertaining. Watching a knockout punch is totally entertaining. Floyd Mayweather is not an entertaining fighter to watch. I hated watching him fight. We watched Tyson, though, because you didn't know what the train wreck was. He's going to either knock someone out, he's going to do something crazy in the ring, but it's going to be devastating. We watch car wrecks on highways for a reason. Everyone rubbernecks. What's going on? Anybody dead? Why do you stop? Why? So you want to see somebody dead? I don't. Not the Philly fans. We love it. Yeah, it's because you're lunch pail, right, GT? There you go. Sounds creative to me. I'm sure it does. I'm entertained. Very entertaining. You stop to help people. Greasy, look at that, man. Look at that good Samaritan right there. Greasy's going to stop on the highway and help somebody in need. That's how you do it, dude. There you go. Very good. Eagle offense. Catch it. Catch it. Then you get murdered. Spoken like a true New Englander, Drew. I'm going to stop the help and then I get killed. No, thank you. Hey, true. Spoken like a true New England guy. And you stop and get killed. Not for me. How you doing? Hey, man, I appreciate everybody coming aboard. Thank you so much. You guys are great. We will have Merrill Reese on with us tomorrow. Merrill Reese and Mike Quick are way more demanding of the team during the broadcast than they are when I get them on. I'm going to try to pry that out of Merrill tomorrow. Appreciate everybody, man. 3 to 6 tomorrow Eastern. Xander, great stuff. We'll see you on the flip side.